kids don't inherently need you as much as a lot of people think they need you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, they need you, but they also need to be figuring stuff out on their own,
Yeah.
messing down, falling down, getting hurt, like all these important things. So it's like they don't need you all the time. But when you're there, be there. When you're at work, be at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't mix the two. If you're on family vacation and you're going to do a little work in the morning, like I mentioned, great, do a little work in the morning. Get up at 6 a.m., hammer it out. Kids are up, family's up, like, let's roll.
Yeah.
And let's go be a family. So that's it. It's just like, it's very much like the time is going to pass. So how are you going to work and to make sure you get the most out of all of it in all areas? Because I don't think you have to compromise in anything.
No.
I think you can be a 20, especially these days more than ever, you can be the 23-year-old in the Mercedes.
Yeah.
That actually has the money to pay for the Mercedes. You can
don't take out debt to do that, guys.
Yeah. You can get one of those on a car note with high interest any day.
But, any day. Yeah.
So that's it. It's you can have it all. Let's design and live an extraordinary life, and here's how it's going to look. Okay, maybe for the next month we're going to be working hard like crazy, but reward yourself and enroll our like we've enrolled our kids into this process. It's like, hey, like, look, here's what mommy and daddy are doing. Here's why we're on these calls. Here's why daddy's out of town. Here's why this is happening.
In on it, right?
And now what we're going to do is in 6 months from now, right? So next summer we're going to Atlantis. It's already been booked. We just took them to Cabo last year. We went to Disney World, but we didn't take them. We took them camping.
Yep.
They picked camping over Disney World, which is super great. They had the opportunity to go to Disney with us. So it's like every year we do a big family vacation, and we just explain to them, like, hey, remember, we're going to go to Atlantis here in a couple more months. This is a part of that process to get us there. Could you please go help your brother out with this so I can finish this?
Yeah.
And it's like we just enroll the kids, enroll the family, enroll the parents for us, all of them into what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that way they're clear, because unspoken expectations always lead to frustrations. Yeah. So if we can give them the expectations of what to expect of our workday, of our life, of our family time, of everything, then there's no frustrations into like, well, we're on vacation and you're always working. It's like, no, I'm not always working. I just do it in the morning and from this time. Yeah. But if they don't know that, then dad's on his phone again, not working. Then there's resentment and all kinds of, problems and issues can arise from that.
Yeah, but you can, as you said, bring them along with you, right? Like, my kids, we had an hour-long conversation last night. I'm putting them down to bed, because I always try to do bedtime with them, and we sit down, we do devotional, we pray together.
Too, right there. One of the greatest. I don't want to cut you off. That's one of the greatest things that I started doing was having a bedtime routine with the boys, because it's such a good time to connect. Our daughter as well for you, but it's such a good time to connect with the kids. Yeah. When everything's winded down, everything's quiet, it's like you can read the book, you can go through this. I tell all dads, they're like, okay, I'm a new dad, what do I do? I'm like, dude, cuddle with your baby on your chest, bare chest as much as you can, and start reading to him. Like, well, he can't understand what I'm saying. Like, dude, listen, it doesn't matter.
He wants to hear your
read,
voice.
dude.
Just
read. Pick up the baby book and read the baby book before you lay him down. And that has built the most profound relationship with our boys since I started doing that. So huge.
That is huge. No, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's, me, I work 10 to 12 hours a day. Yeah. I train 90 minutes to 2 hours a day. Yeah. And, so when I get home at 5, 6 o'clock, and I am the kind that, like, my wife likes me a lot better, and the distance does make the heart grow fonder if you're intentional when you're home, right? So good. And I can't be home all day, you know, and that's, I have an office. I'm out and about meeting people, doing meetings, doing the thing, doing this stuff, right? If I'm not doing that, I'm not fulfilled, and then I'm not good when I get home because I feel empty, right? I feel like I'm not fulfilling my purpose, right? So, but when I do get home, I'm intentional as all get out. I am not, and of course we're not perfect, right? Yeah. Like, there are nights we get home, like a Wednesday night, I did 2 training sessions. I was smoked. Like, there's no glycogen left in my body. My brain barely functions at this point. I was smoked. And so, no, I wasn't very intentional. I was a little bit grumpy because I was just smoked. And, I hadn't slept well early on in the week. Anyways, you're not going to be perfect every night. You've got to give yourself some grace of that because we're human. But when you get home, you're intentional and you're spending time with the kids. My wife, she has them all day. She's homeschooling. We're starting that this year. And she's man, talk about a superhero, man. Yeah. She is there gardening with, like, they built a garden. That's sweet. They've set up the homeschool room. They've built things. They've gone and done projects. They've been super active, being intentional with the summer, right? Even though they're on summer, they're still learning. So anyways, I'm putting them down last night. We do some prayer, do some devotional, and then we start talking. And Alexa's like, okay, Dad, Wiley wants to buy a gecko. Or the dragons. Bearded dragon. There we go. The bearded dragon was what they want. And like, okay, cool. How are we going to do that? Well, we're not buying it for you. So you guys, if you guys can buy it yourselves and 6 months of food, and then continue paying for the food, you can make this happen. All right. Well, how are we going to do that? Man, my daughter, she has got an entrepreneur's mind.
Love it.
And she is just like, okay, we're gonna, Dad, can I start a lawn mowing business? Yeah, go for it. You can use the mower. Yeah. You got to pay for gas though. So how much are you going to charge per? And we start going through all this stuff. Yeah. Well, now they start talking, and they're like, hey, Dad, can we do a lemonade stand at the gym? And I'm like,
gym.
Go for it. Go for it. It's like we have these businesses. Let the kids be involved with it, man. Like they'll come in and they're gonna do set up a little booth and do lemonade stand here.
Yeah.
We'll throw some electrolytes in it, make it some healthy lemonade. Fresh squeezed, all that, right? And they're gonna earn a little money. Yeah. And then okay, how do we use that money? How do we steward that money so that now you can level up? You can maybe go to making cookies instead. Protein cookies or something, or and then save. So you're making your profit, you're building your business, you're investing into your business, and then you just keep doing this, right? And teaching them those things. Don't hand it to them. Give them a little startup cash. I'll give them a little, startup cash to get that first lemonade going, But yeah, like bring them along with you, and they see what you're doing. Explain it to them. And don't be afraid to slow down too. That's something else I've learned is like, your kids come up and go, "Hey, Dad, can I cook dinner?" You're like, "Well, it's 7:30 and I want you in bed in the next 30 minutes. Shit. No, I don't. But yes. Yeah, you can help. Like let them slow down, take time, let them jump in and help. Yeah. It's going to be messier, it's going to be slower, but they're going to learn and they're going to develop through it, right?
Yeah. And what that does for them 10, 20 years from now, that's when it's like, that's when the real result of that extra 30 minutes of frustration comes to pay off.
Exactly.
Because the last thing I want is a dependent 20-year-old, 30-year-old who's relying on me for everything.
Aren't we seeing that right now? 100%. These wealthy families that catered in food, or they never made their kids work because they wanted to give their kids what they didn't have, right? Right. But there's I don't want my kids to have what I want them to have less than I had. I want to make them work for what they have, and it doesn't mean they're not going to be rewarded for doing that. Totally. But they're going to work for it. They're going to have that adversity and learn how to be productive members of society, right? So that's huge.